Hey everyone, we are back with another update video, and by we, of course, I mean with me as always is Corey. Say hi, Corey.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
So to dive right in on the PC side of things, I have finished getting the boss fight. Pretty much we'll call it fully functional. However, what I'm working on now is working on the entire victory end sequence for when the player beats the game. And once that's done, the entire basic arcade version on the normal difficulty will be structurally complete, and then it's a matter of internally testing and fixing until it's good enough that there's no really obvious problems, at which point we'll almost certainly extend the testing back out. Especially you backers will be the first to have the option, if you want to test through the whole standard as Elric, the main playable character, arcade mode, to give us any feedback and let us know if there's any bugs or any other issues. And I'm trying really hard to get that done within roughly a month, so we'll keep you posted on that. And then another thing that I've been working on that's sort of related to that same goal is a splash screen. Future Mike will hopefully edit in. There's a little animated GIF on the Kickstarter page that showed our first rough design of a splash screen for the PC version, where you're going to be able to pick which version of DaemonClaw you want to play. And as far as I recall, the plan always was the Megadrive version would be finished first, so that will be fully accessible and playable on the Steam version. And then you'll be able to pick the PC version, which will probably put a label on it at first, like work in progress or something like that, because obviously over time we have to add all the other game modes, the second playable character, who again is totally unique on each version of the game. So there's still a lot of work to do on the PC version, but at least the core arcade mode with the star character, we'll call him, that is getting really close to a state where we're going to get into the actual testing and polishing up, and then from that point move on. But the goal is in the pretty darn near future to get a package ready that we could, and of course there are other parties involved, so we need to work this out with Pixel Heart and Neofid, but as soon as we can, we want to get that up on Steam, maybe as early adopter, or at least somehow accessible to you backers, so you can start playing the Mega Drive version and the PC version and the Neo Geo version as those two versions continue to develop.
And on the artbook side, coming up in future videos, we do want to start showing some snippets of progress. Obviously, we don't want to give too much away, kind of similar to before with print materials and stuff like that.
If you guys recall, basically almost every page is laid out. We know what the content needs to be. The fonts are chosen, the colors are picked, the backgrounds, but there's still a lot of replacing some placeholder stuff with the final perfect pixel art and other types of art, and then just doing the last minute refining, especially like of editing the text. We had a big long, I think a series of meetings where we worked out what the text needs to cover, but it's not really perfectly worded yet or anything. So what we're going to be able to do in the near future is just let you guys know what pages have now been completed and ready for print out of the total pages of the book, or something like that, to let you guys know how far along. And we'll choose specific pages to show you guys without spoiling the whole thing. Similarly with the cards, it's a little trickier. There's the deluxe cards that some of you guys got as add-ons in the Kickstarter campaign. I'll keep you updated on the progress, but I probably want to keep the actual illustrations and stuff a little more secret for now. But I can at least say, and I think this was even, if not hinted at, maybe directly stated in the Kickstarter, the 3 deluxe cards are going to represent the second playable characters in each of the 3 versions of DaemonClaw. And I can say, if you guys have been following along, we did go through extra work with a local expert that runs kind of a gaming shop here in France. So he's an expert of a particular kind of card game, and I had no history or expertise with it, so he's been helping me make those kind of backs of the cards actually functional if someone were to try to play with that particular card game. So I have now scheduled this coming week, I'm going to start actually working those cards out for those characters. So that is also going. And then the final thing are the add-on big posters, which won't take very long at all, because in general, they're mostly just the big box art illustration, which is done, and then just
Right.
the treatment, the logo, which Corey already did a beautiful job making a vector high-res version of that. So those are already mostly done, and those will be like a breeze, like a snap. Once the other stuff is pretty much done, we can wrap those up and send everything to print, so everything will get printed and sent to me close to around the same time as each other. At whatever order they arrive, I just have to start signing them all and mailing them out, so we'll keep you guys updated on that. Speaking of mailing things out, actually, I'll have Future Mike here edit in the latest information for you backers that are waiting still for the Megadrive version. Last I knew, while I'm recording this, they were up to something like backer number 435 or something, but we'll put those numbers up on the screen as far as what backer number they're up to. In the order of which people backed, Neofid are shipping out the Megadrive versions. However, they also gave out a list recently of the backer numbers who they still are missing shipping information from. So if you see that number on the screen in this video, if that's the backer number you are, make sure to get in contact with Neofid. Check in the video description. I'll paste how to email them or whatever, and make sure you get them the exact mailing information they need. So like, as I said, they're up to number 400 and something. So if you were a backer before then and you have not received your Megadrive version, definitely get in contact with Neofid. And going back to the Neo Geo side of things, if you guys watched our previous video, you got to see the behind the scenes on how we visualize and start to construct a full scene specifically for the Neo Geo exclusive only attract mode screens that we're going to be adding to the game. And if you recall, they started as very rough scribbles where you could hardly tell what they were, but these blobs of color that allowed me to double check, is the parallax scroll going to work? What does the perspective need to look like on things? How big everything needs to be relative to each other? And start to even perfect things like movement speed for the scrolling. And then once that is kind of established, then I went to the next step of starting to make the pixel art actually look like the stuff that it's supposed to be. And then from there, what I've done recently is I upscaled it to twice the resolution, which is just enough because it's a full screen scene. Making it 2x allowed me to work in a more modern digital painting tool instead of a hardcore pixel art tool, and that way I'm able to work quicker, not worrying about individual pixels, and in a more painterly style to really start to refine and perfect the detail and the shading of each element, looking at, working in layers so that I can see everything at once and kind of make sure everything stays balanced with each other in value and contrast and colors. And then, so what I'm going to do, and Future Mike will be editing in footage of this, is bring it back down to the actual pixel art resolution and start the process of color reducing each element down to 15 colors. And then pretty much each thing can be its own 15 colors, which should allow for a very nice looking finished screen. But by the time you're watching this video, I'll have at least started that process and you can see how it's going. And certainly by the next update video, it should be very well polished. But we do always leave room in the future, so long as the game is being developed in other ways, to continue refining anything in the art that we think could be further refined. And speaking of refining things, that is definitely the one big benefit to something being late. There's different people or different teams with very different tasks that one person working on one thing cannot speed up the other task. So it was the same thing with the Megadrive. For example, when the Megadrive version was late, basically what happened is the guys at Neofid had an unexpected and sudden lack of one of the programmers that were scheduled to work on DaemonClaw with us. And to the great credit of Simon at Neofid, it's very hard to suddenly find an available and highly competent Megadrive programmer. So while they obviously tried to do that, they, more importantly, worked incredibly long, hard hours with us in constant communication till like 3 in the morning to get the game done as fast as they could. But because of that situation where basically the game is waiting for all of that programming and all of that debugging to happen, that means we had already for the most part, long finished the art, and this is especially already true with the Neo Geo version. But the benefit to that was the Mega Drive version has more and more polished art and gameplay design, especially in the later section with the final boss fight. Like, it gave us time, since we can't just roll up our sleeves and say, okay, we're gonna program the game with you guys. We're not programmers,
Right, yeah.
and that's not our job. But what we can do when we're otherwise done with things is we keep looking for ways to improve things. That certainly happened a lot with Mega Drive, and that's certainly going to happen a lot with the Neo Geo version. So things like the attract screen we're showing you, but other more subtle things that aren't their own entire additional thing. But we're going to be able to just keep looking at things and refining them as they go, both in the graphics and gameplay in general. Another thing that we've been doing this whole time, of course, with all versions, is on the management and design side, nonstop testing, giving feedback, making tickets on what's called Trello, which is like an organizational website where you can communicate, make specific tickets or tasks of things that need to get done to fix issues or enhance things or add missing features. So we're always doing things like that as much as we possibly can, making sure that there's never a bottleneck, there's never a block from our side of things that would slow them down while they continue to finish actually programming all that's left to do in the game. And then the other thing we've been working on for many, many weeks now, actually nonstop, but especially many weeks now, is Corey and I have been discussing and negotiating with the other parties, especially Pixel Heart, to try to work out something. We can't go into the details, in part because we don't even know how it's going to turn out specifically, but we can say that we've been doing everything we can to work out any means possible for all of us to adjust, adapt, and enhance the workflow, the amount of work power, and everything else possible to make sure that we do finish the Neo Geo version as soon as possible. So quite possibly in a future update video, we'll be able to tell you more about that in particular, but regardless, however it turns out, it will be some degree of an upgrade from what got the DaemonClaw version to the point where it is for the Neo Geo. It's going to be an improvement to some degree, and we're definitely, as always, going to keep updating you guys with as much information and hopefully showing you as much cool stuff as possible along the way. So yeah, for now, that's about all we could say about that topic. Stay tuned for future updates. I can say the thing I'm going to be working on, actually probably am right now while you're watching this video, future Mike will be working on continued finishing the second playable character's big animated portrait. The portrait was done and is mostly animated. I haven't put the final bit of polish on that, and then start further cleaning and refining the full base animation set for the second playable character. And then in future videos, of course, we will just continue to give you and show you as much as we can. That all being said, keep in mind, as I kind of just mentioned, there's a definitive bottleneck where, for example, in the Neo Geo version, there's stuff that we can do on the art side, but we're largely blocked on a lot of the other things we usually do, like a lot of gameplay testing and feedback, for example, to perfect the gameplay of the second playable character until things are done more on the programmer side, and then a new build is sent back to us with those current list of changes on the Trello board we mentioned. So keep that in mind, especially Corey, like all of the core upgrades to every level, pretty much every enemy, every boss on the Neo Geo version, he's already done. So there's a lot less he has to do and can do, and he's going to be working on wrapping up the art book pretty soon. So there are other projects that we will be working on, and we're definitely going to keep these specific numbered update post Kickstarter videos very focused on DaemonClaw. But when you guys start seeing other videos on our channel about the really cool. Can't wait for you guys to really see it. Project that Corey is spearheading and Corey is going to start. We need to make sure you guys understand in no way at all does Corey working on this new project, it's not in any way going to be slowing down or neglecting DaemonClaw. So that's going to be their own separate videos, hopefully coming in the near future. And we can't wait for you to take a look. But we would hate for you guys to be under the impression that, oh, well, you guys are Bitbeam Canon and DaemonClaw is Bitbeam Canon, so you should be working nonstop on DaemonClaw. Trust me, we are. Beyond what we can do as artists and designers, we're doing everything we can, like I said, even on management negotiations to try to even in any way enhance the abilities of the other parties to get things done as fast as we can. But in the meantime, there are other projects that we can't wait to start sharing with you guys, and in no way is that neglecting finishing DaemonClaw and making sure it is as awesome as possible. And like I said, once things are less blocked, once we have builds to review, Corey will have plenty of time and will be able to come back in if there's anything he sees. He's always this way anyway, as you saw in the previous video with the animated environment and adding the extra fog effects and stuff like that. Like, it'll just be a natural thing where, okay, there's a new DaemonClaw build. Let me see if there's anything I can enhance even further. So just keep that in mind. There's a definitive block and time break where we can't postpone or neglect other projects that in no way overlap or take away time from DaemonClaw. Like I said, especially on the Corey side, I'm going to continue to be very busy for quite a while on wrapping up the PC version of DaemonClaw. Thank goodness, as I said in previous videos, my brother is going to be helping a lot to finish the PC version. He's a professional programmer. He's been a massive help already. But so we got that extra manpower too. Thanks, shout out to Chris, my brother. So that's going to expedite finishing the PC version, and we'll continue to keep you updated on that. But the point is that we can't wait to show you these other projects, but we really wanted to make sure you didn't think that we were being in any way neglectful to DaemonClaw and to you incredible backers. We hope you could tell we are doing everything we can to make sure the games get finished as fast as possible, but without neglecting quality. And because that unideal situation is forced on us where the game is going to be later than we would like, if we magically were also programmers for these systems or could clone those other programmers, to the extent that we can, we're doing everything we can to actually enhance the quality. Since you have to wait longer for it, we're damn sure going to make sure that it's as worth your wait as possible, and that we just use that extra time that we're forced to wait to make the game even better for you guys.
To speak to my own project, one of the things about DaemonClaw, Mike, you spearheaded a lot of the gameplay design and game mechanic design for that. So there was more involvement from your end as far as input on controls and things like that, that even though I had some input occasionally about that stuff, it was more about like presentation and does everything look right and everything the way it was intended. So similarly for this new project, this is me flexing my game design skills, and so that's the reason it's not really slowing you down for DaemonClaw. Since the art side is tidied up as far as a lot of the pixel art goes for Neo Geo, I can go over and start. I've had this idea in my head for a long time, so I can't wait to show you guys some stuff.
Super excited.
When the time is right, you'll get to see it.
I'm super excited. Like, it is great collaborating with such a talented person, and it's so cool to collaborate with Corey because we both like a lot of the same things, but we're different people with different creative visions. So it was amazing to work with Corey because DaemonClaw is definitely a much better game than if I had made it in a vacuum. Like, not only did he make fantastic pixel art, he did the vast majority of the pixel art for DaemonClaw, but there's creative influence and even going into the gameplay and stuff like that. That's just, it's a wonderful thing to find someone of great talent and passion to collaborate with where we're so compatible but still different. But our philosophy as a project really benefits from having like one person who it's their vision, the game is their baby. It's that the expression is designed by committee. is something that we like to avoid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're free to give our input, but one person has to yay or nay and say, that might be a good idea, but that's not the vision. That's not what this game is supposed to be. And it's so refreshing for me to finally start seeing a Bitbeam Canon game come to fruition that is Corey's baby, or one of them. He's got a lot of great things planned for the future as well, other projects for down the line. But they're so good, but they're also like not what I would do in a very good way. It's so refreshing. You know what I mean? It's like I can't surprise myself.
Yeah, we definitely.
You know what I mean?
That is one of the neat things. We had different nostalgic tastes. A little, well, not completely different. Differing paths as far as like the kind of games we used to love and play when we were younger and everything. And so this is like my version of that as far as one, at least for one project. You know, I've got a great many ideas, but this is one of them. So yeah, it is good though. Even though someone is in charge, it's still good to have people that liked different kind of games still give input on the design, because they may notice something you don't. And so this is very fun. There's also, by the way, behind the scenes, a little bit of Metro Siege progress going on too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll try to keep the updates on other projects separate from these post Kickstarter videos. Like I said, we've got nothing but appreciation and respect for you backers. You are amazing, and we really appreciate the support and the patience. As always, we will always, and especially with these future projects, which we are doing everything internally in a lot of these future projects, like the project Corey is about to really start ramping up, we can be completely transparent and really show you guys everything that's going on and really explain the behind the scenes type stuff. With other parties, other companies, other studios involved, there's just an inherent restriction out of courtesy, out of NDA agreements, out of all kinds of things, or sometimes just not knowing exactly what's going on their end of things, you know, for specific things. So those are going to be separate videos, but just again, thank you so much, and we will do everything we can to not only keep you guys really updated and very beefy with as much information as we can give. Hopefully you'll see the passion we're putting into just making sure that this extra time that we have no control over, but what we can do is have control over what we do with that time to give you the best version of DaemonClaw we can. And in the meantime, like I said, since Corey is otherwise very much blocked, he can start actually working on another project, which we hope a lot of you will be interested in and keep an eye on. But anyway, that's, I think, everything we needed to say for this update video. Please stay tuned for the future ones, and yeah, it won't be long before Corey's ready to start showing you the next official Bitbeam Canon project. So very exciting. And yes, since Corey teased it, we'll definitely try to get out a Metro Siege update video in the near future as well. So, but that's it for this update. So thanks very much, and we'll be back soon with another update.
If you enjoy our content and want to keep up to date on our games, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, if you want to support our projects, consider becoming a patron. The link's in the description, and we'll see you soon.